Hi, this is Jonathan Rosenhead, the Jerusalem psychotherapist. This week's Torah and Psychology post, so Pashas Mishpatim, is going to look at the importance of tefillah. Now, obviously, davening is a central aspect of our religious practice. We have three tefillahs during the day, Shachris, Mincha, Maariv. It's this central aspect which gives a structure to our day, which gives a focus and a connection with the Kodesh Baruch Hu throughout our day. And davening is a way of communicating with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. And there are different understandings in the poskim of what is the, in a sense, what is the purpose of the davening? What does it facilitate? Is it just because we need to be able to communicate and have a connection with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, and we should consider, I guess you could say, larger, grander aspects of our life in terms of the Mashiach, in terms of the Geula, in terms of Yerushalayim, in terms of health, and perhaps even a collective responsibility for Am Yisrael through our tefillahs. That is one aspect. But also there's an understanding and a value to being able to communicate with the Kodesh Baruch Hu for our own personal needs, and in particular because we might be in a situation of distress, where we are suffering, where we have something which is bothering us, that we are able to cry out to a Kodesh Baruch Hu. This is also, as the poskim explain, a valuable aspect built into the structure and the formula of tefillah. And we see a hint to that in this week's parasha. That the pasuk says that we should not afflict a widow or an orphan, because, and this is how the wording in the psukim, they will cry out, and Hashem will surely hear their cry. What we can see from this is a formula that obviously it's important not to cause any distress or to afflict a widow or an orphan. But the second part is that it's because they will cry out in distress. They will call out to a Kodesh Baruch Hu, and Hashem will definitely hear them and answer them. And this gives us an insight into the formula that if we are struggling and we are in distress, and we have something that's difficult for us in our life, we are obligated, and we should feel and understand that it is possible to call out to a Kodesh Baruch Hu and ask for help. And not only that, is that there is the promise that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will hear our cry. Hashem will be there to listen, to understand, to empathize, and to help and support. And this, from a psychological perspective, is such an important message. Not only, obviously, in terms of our own religious observance and practice and a connection with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, but if we take it to a point of Ben Adam Lechavero, when we are in distress and we are struggling, to be prepared. I say prepared because it takes courage as well to talk to someone, to be able to cry out, to be able to actually ask for help and for support. A lot of people, suffer in silence, and they struggle with the fact that they don't feel that they can talk to anyone. They don't know who to talk to. They don't know maybe they worry what people will think about them if they were to share their struggles and their difficulties. But this is one aspect of what we're learning out from this week's parasha, that it's important to understand that crying out, davening, tefillah, crying out, talking to someone, sharing, it's almost an obligation. It's a commandment, because when you are suffering, you have to cry out. You have to find someone to talk to, whether it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the way it's presented in this week's parasha, or we can look at it from a perspective of family, a friend, or if necessary also to go to therapy, to speak with a therapist. That is critical for being able to deal with struggles and distress in life. And the second part is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, we know that Hashem will definitely hear the cry. So we are not HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Instead of Ben Adam L'Chavero, humans cannot be on that level of definitely being able to give a response and being able to help. But we want to try to, in a way, imitate and copy that role of being there with an open ear, being able to empathize, being able to hold together with the person, their suffering, their distress. This is our side, in terms of the person who is providing the support. They need to understand that, in a sense, they should also feel it as an obligation. Whether they're a friend, a family member, we can all be, in a sense, a person who can act in a therapeutic way, to help another person, to listen, to hear, to try to give them a support, and to try to implement this formula that we see from Tefillah of crying out and listening to the person's distress. Have a great Shabbos and keep well.